That was music's very quiet, and that was not very good Bud Light line, or just Bud Light.
Sorry, what was that?
I said that was not very good Bud Light. Just saying.
Uh,
I
well,
forgot
it's
how
probably
hard it was
better
to
than
chug
Bad
that.
Keystone.
Yeah. All right, fine. Yours is worse. Yours is worse. Okay. Welcome everybody to the Hour of Power show. Man, it's been a while since I've got to say that. I am super excited to be here. I hope you're all super excited to listen. We're going to have a great show for you. We've got lots of good stuff to talk about. It's the beginning of a 3-day weekend, so just sit back, relax, grab a beer. We are going to be attempting to take a drink every minute for the next hour or so. You know, however long the hour of power lasts, we're going to take a shot of beer every minute for that. And then, yeah, we should be good to go. So, anything else to add?
Prost!
Prost! I was busy talking, I didn't pour it.
It's all right. So as Matthew mentioned, we are back for the first time in, well, since I was at your house 2 months ago. So we skipped the month of May, but we're all right with that. We had things.
Well, you know, we're mostly okay with that. It's one of those things where it happens to be that you get to a point where you're actually doing stuff in your life. You know, when we first started this show, we were in college / right out of college, and we really weren't doing jack or shit with our lives. Now we both have like jobs and families and crap like that we have to deal with.
And yeah, and you've got busy work hours. I've got CPA studying, and so it basically comes down to the fact that we're just getting old.
You see, and I think that there's a lot of problems with that because if I had my way, we would just get paid to do this. Heck, I would do it at least every other day.
Oh, I would be completely fine with that. We may have to limit the drinking just for the fact of, you know, staying alive. But
well, why did you think I said every other day? Hello. Hello, McFly.
Fair enough. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into an agenda. And I know we usually start with movie news, and there's different movies coming out and stuff. But I think the big news for movies today is that they released, or Entertainment Weekly released some promo pictures for Batman vs. Superman.
Oh,
Dawn
really?
of Justice. And so I don't know if you've seen these yet. Most of them look like they're taken out of the trailer for the most part. And let me know if you can't hear the beeping. The one that sticks out to me going through them is well, not only the Entertainment Weekly cover, which has all three characters, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman on the cover, which, by the way, Gal Gadot looks pretty good as Wonder Woman. Happy about that. But it looks like somebody ate Batman and then put on a Batman suit. Like, he is just, I don't know. He looks rather obese to me. Or steroid ridden, maybe. But I don't know. It's just like, remember the Thing from Fantastic Four?
Yes.
It looks like a bat version of that, just like overwhelmingly bulky.
But anyway, I'm going through the slides. We have Miss Wayne, Mr. Wayne meets Miss Price,
which is apparently Diana's last name in the movie.
Okay.
Or Wonder Woman.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture of Superman with, you know, all the people standing around him, like putting their hands on him, like, you know, who wants to touch me? I said, who wants to fucking touch me? He doesn't seem too fat at that point. You know what? I think I need to lose a man card here because I didn't bring a beer opener over.
Oh, for shame.
Yeah.
So while you're grabbing that, I'll talk about Jesse Eisenberg. He has one picture in here as Lex Luthor, and he has hair, which I think is a wig and will turn out to be such in the movie.
Yeah, but if Professor Xavier can have hair, then, a young Lex Luthor could have some hair.
Right, and the little caption underneath it says, and while his version of the villain might be sporting luscious locks in this photo, you can rest assured that the movie will feature the iconic chrome dome. So, like I said, unless, he has the accident which makes him bald in this movie, or this is just a wig, who knows?
Or
For
what if he
example,
has some kind of rare cancer that ends up making him, like, super strong or something like that?
it could be. I mean, in Smallville, Lex Luthor lost his hair from, I think, being around the meteor shower that brought Superman to Earth, and that caused him to lose all his hair. But, of course, that's Smallville, and they recreated a lot of history on that one.
No, you know what I really hope is, I actually did not know Jesse Eisenberg was playing Lex Luthor until now. I really hope that he basically plays the same character that he was in Social Network, because I think that would make a good Lex Luthor.
That would be true. Just a slight variation of that character, I think, is pretty much where you need to be.
Exactly, but like smart, fast talking, that kind of stuff. Basically, he needs Aaron Sorkin to write Lex Luthor.
Yes, he needs to be very arrogant, very condescending, but just maybe a little more evil.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, anyways, if you haven't seen that, Entertainment Weekly has these 7 photos. The movie comes out. Hell, I don't even remember, sadly.
And this movie has been in the works for quite a while.
Yes, I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time we've talked about this movie on this show, which is saying something. Either that or, our other show.
So, I'm now seeing the cover picture.
March 25th. So it's my birthday present next year. You get Star Wars this year. I get Batman vs. Superman next year.
So see, that works out pretty well for us.
Yes.
I'm looking at the picture now, and I see Gal Gadot. She's got her nice little Wonder Woman costume on, which I definitely like. However, can I just say that, you remember when they were going to make the Wonder Woman TV show?
Mm-hmm.
And they had shown the costume they're going to do there. I actually think I like that costume more than this one.
Because didn't that one have jeans?
Well, it wasn't jeans. It was like blue spandex or something. I mean, you could still see plenty. That wasn't the issue.
Right. All right. So, anyways, March 25th is when that comes out. Matthew, let's go ahead and transition into sports if you're ready.
Well, first off, I want to keep on this for just a second, as I found a few things that I wanted to comment on. First off was one that we already talked about, which was Paul Rudd getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I just want to say that they're really lowering their standards. I mean, seriously, Paul Rudd is on there? That is just absolutely crazy to me.
You know what he's becoming a rather bona fide movie star, right? I mean, for hell's sake, he's going to be an Ant-Man, or he's going to be a Marvel comic character in Ant-Man, like, next week.
I was going to say, you can't make that sound better by saying a Marvel action superhero. It's still Ant-Man.
Hey, like he says in the movie, he didn't pick the name.
It's, oh my gosh, this is going to be a very telling movie for me with Ant-Man, because right now, everyone is trying to copy Marvel. Marvel did everything right with the Avengers. They did everything right. They have been on the top of the freaking world for the last, when did Iron Man come out? Like back in, 2005, 6, something like that?
Yeah, 6, I think, because I think I was in college.
So they've been on top of the world, and now they're kind of starting to run out of their really good characters, and we're getting stuff like Ant-Man coming out now. It's like, this had better be good, or it's basically just going to be the downfall, and it's going to be them just trying everything they can to stay on top when they really should just give it up for a couple of years.
Yeah, they're starting to move into what I believe they call phase 2, which is essentially transitioning out of all of these really well-known characters or transitioning into some of the lesser-known characters, i.e. younger actors that can have a longer shelf life, because Robert Downey Jr. is only going to be able to play a superhero, even Tony Stark, for so long, and Chris Evans is going to age, people
Well,
like
he
that.
wants to go and do directing. Chris Evans does.
Right. He doesn't even want to act anymore. So I think he said that once his original contract's up with Marvel, he's done, which probably means that after Marvel or Avengers Civil War that his character will actually end up dying, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, will turn out to be the new Captain America, kind of like they did in the comic books.
Ooh.
So let's go back to your original point in that, yes, it is kind of weird that Paul Rudd is getting a star on the Walk of Fame. Nobody would have thought that after seeing him in Clueless, but it is what it is. However, I think that one is a little more justified than what we were talking about, in which Bobby Flay got a star on the Walk of Fame. Now, that one, that's just a little bit weird.
Yeah, that's a lot of bit weird. That is a little bit, they're really pushing it quite a bit. It's, wow, are they really going to go through and give him a star? I mean, who are they going to give a star next? I mean, seriously, I'm awaiting our letter to get a star on the Walk of Fame. If he's going to get a star, I think we deserve a star. We've been doing this show a lot longer than he's been a cook.
By standard deviations, we're not that far out. If you look at like people that you'd think would get a star, like Will Smith, Brad Pitt, like those are the people you think of getting stars. Then you think of like Paul Rudd, that's like one standard deviation. Bobby Flay is like the second or third standard deviation. We're only like the fifth standard deviation. We're only looking at like 10 years away from being able to, get a star on Hollywood.
To really make a claim for our own star? Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably true.
I would not be surprised to see the first YouTube sensation get a star on Hollywood Boulevard within the next 10 years.
Wow. So that means we have about 8 years to become YouTube sensations?
Yes, something like that. So, hey, we've got, a YouTube show going on right now, so if people would just watch, which,
there you go.
But it's all right.
Turn on, everybody. Keep watching. This is fun. We're having fun here.
Keep on keeping on. All right. So, anyways, like I said, let's transition into sports, which it is kind of dead season. We've got the NBA draft was last week. Karl Anthony Towns out of Kansas went Kentucky. Then you'd think that I could get right. Went number 1. Kind of a shocker, number 2, with D'Angelo Russell going to the Lakers. Everybody was kind of thinking Jahlil Okafor would go 2, but he ended up going 3 to the 76ers, I believe. So that's about as much as I know for the draft, except that the Knicks really, really, really hated their pick, at least as far as the fans are concerned. They picked Chris Porzingis out of Latvia, who I think became the first Latvian lottery player. And yeah, they tore Phil Jackson a new one on that pick just because he's not ready to play in the NBA yet. Phil Jackson saying he's trying to build a winner for now, so it just really doesn't make sense. But it is what it is. The Knicks suck. They're always going to suck, especially as long as James Dolan owns him. And I think Phil Jackson is kind of fulfilled his NBA shelf life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a couple of thoughts on that. Number 1, of all of the drafts, actually, of all of the drafts, the only one that actually matters is the NFL draft. Like, if you really think about it, the only ones in the NBA draft that are probably going to play this season are probably the top 3, maybe 4 guys. That's about it.
Yeah, you'll get some outliers. I mean, generally, the lottery is supposed to contain the best players, but usually the drafts aren't that deep, and usually the drafts don't contain difference makers. There's
You'll
just
get,
not
you'll get one or two
that.
others that make a splash or something. It'll become like a sixth man of the year or something like that. You'll get some of those, and if you look at the baseball draft, most of the time those people are drafted and then stay in college for another couple of years.
Yeah, or refuse to sign, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Or they draft like Russell Wilson, who is already a star in the NFL.
right.
And I'll say the same thing. I'm a big hockey fan. The hockey draft is very much similar. You draft a player, but half the time they either go back to college for the next year or they go and play in the Russian league or something like that. So it's like you draft these players, but then they're not starting the next year. You might get one or two or three out of that first round draft class, but other than that, they're really not going anywhere. They're going to the minors. They're going somewhere else. The only one where the draft really matters is the NFL, because out of the 32 teams, 30 teams, I think, who picked in the first round, I think there were a couple of trades. I think there'll be, probably 25 of them that start this year. Maybe a little less, but there's plenty of them that start. Like, these guys are people that are going to make waves this year. In all the other draft classes, all the other draft leagues, no one's going to actually make a stand this year.
That is true, and that's probably why the NBA or NFL draft is the most highly watched draft out of them, and all, because it has the most immediate impact. Because honestly, people aren't going to remember 3 years down the road. Oh yeah, this guy, he was drafted in the third round, or he was a second round NBA draft pick. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, if you watch the second round of the NBA draft, you're basically committing yourself to following the NBA DL for the next 2 seasons, or
Really,
watching
if you're watching
internet
the
class.
second round of the NBA draft, you would better be drinking or on shrooms or something like that. You had better just be sitting there entranced in the commissioner's bald head.
Yeah, and he doesn't even do it at that point. Luckily, the draft goes quickly because I think they have like 5 to 7 minutes in between picks. It's really quick. But, I mean, you do have to have the drinking game going on at that point because the rest is irrelevant.
Yeah, can we just once again mention, we are old, and can I just say that, with all these drafts recently, I have not drank to one of them, and it's a little bit sad.
That's true. I didn't even watch the NFL draft this year. I think I watched a couple of minutes of day 2, but draft came out the same night as the Avengers, and I went to the Avengers. And I don't regret it whatsoever. I mean, there's days or years when the draft was something I really look forward to. This year, not so much.
I remember one year the NFL draft fell on the same day as Sorority Olympics. And I remember leaving Sorority Olympics early so I could go and drink to the draft, because that was when they started Saturday morning.
I do miss. See, that's when it was fun, when you could wake up Saturday morning, start drinking at 10 o'clock, have some fun, drink with your friends, and just be day drunk all day.
Yeah, and there's really nothing better than day drunk.
No, at least not when you don't really have other responsibilities. I mean, I don't classify homework necessarily as responsibilities. Like, it's not like having to mow the lawn or, plan things with the wife, fix this, do that. That's completely different. Homework can wait. Homework you can BS at the last minute. That stuff you can't.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I find things with the kid and with family and all this kind of stuff, it makes drinking in the afternoon a lot more harder when you realize that, yeah, you can drink and have fun, but then all of a sudden at 7 o'clock and you have to do bath time. There's no getting out of bath time.
No. Has Kim performed a bath yet?
Nah. She's done a bath where she just does the soap up, because one day we don't do a soap up, because one day we just kind of give a rinse off and pour some water on and just kind of rinse off. the next day we do a soap off. So I think she's done a rinse off, but she's never done a soap off.
Okay. Because I know that when I was there, she had never done a bath yet.
Never done either one, yeah. Mm.
Oh, Melvin Gordon already has a Speed Stick deodorant commercial. Interesting. All right. Anyways,
All right,
I think
let's keep going.
Yes.
Let's look a little bit at the NFL. The off season, people are starting to go to training camps. I'm trying to think of good things that we could go into.
Well, we're talking about off the air about today must have been drug suspension day, particularly due to PEDs. A couple notable people got suspended today. We've got Sheldon Richardson out of the Jets, who is one of the top defensive tackles in the league, really. I mean, he's just a stud, and apparently now we know why. He was suspended 4 games for PEDs. Antonio Gates was a shocking one, also suspended for PEDs. Said that, he took some supplements over the offseason, wasn't it wasn't malicious or anything. He wasn't trying to take steroids. He just happened to take a supplement that had a banned substance. It's just one of those things, apparently. And then Rolando McClain, who really helped out the Cowboys last year in the pinch at middle linebacker, also got busted for PEDs, which that doesn't really shock me all that much.
No. Gates is definitely shocking, but if I remember correctly, they have a backup tight end. I don't remember his name, but I remember him being a pretty good fantasy player. So while Gates' fantasy value definitely dropped because, 4 games at the beginning of the year for a tight end, where if you really look at like tight ends in fantasy, it's Gronk, it's Graham, and everybody else. I mean, 3 through 13 is going to get you about the same amount of points. So
yeah, pretty.
I mean, that probably drops him down quite a bit because 4 games without him, that's going to hurt, especially when it comes to the fact that, I don't really trust Phillip Rivers that much, and we have no idea what that.
Not really happy there right now.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that drops his fantasy value quite a bit, and maybe that backup will get some good playing time, and Gates hasn't been the same Gates as he was a couple of years ago.
No, he has not. He's started to come back a little bit recently compared to where he was, because I think he had a really bad year. I want to say in 11 or 12, something like that. And he started to come back. He had that foot injury, but you're right. He's not going to ever reclaim that late 2000s form, that all-pro status that he had. But at this point, I would say that, he's league average, if anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find fantasy points from last year, but it's going to take me a little bit of time. It's never easy. And, here, why don't we get into this for a second? This is going to be much better. You're going to like this one. Now, our unofficial content partner is ESPN. They don't want us to mention that very much, but hey, we look at them all the time.
They haven't sent us a letter telling us we can't. So
exactly. Yeah. Luckily enough, they don't care enough about us to send us any notes. If they would like to send Mike to come and talk to us about how we shouldn't do this podcast, I would be more than happy to listen to them. But they don't, so I'm going to continue doing it. But can I just say that their new website sucks balls?
I really do not enjoy the new format of it. It is terrible compared to the last one.
Which, can I say, one of the things is that one of the guys that was part of the new website design was Nate Ravitz, who was the co-host of my favorite show, which was Fantasy Focused Football Podcast, which he has now left because he's been doing more like non-fantasy related stuff, and he's been working on like the website designs and stuff like that. And so I feel really bad saying it because I love him, but holy crap, it sucks.
Yeah, it's like a social feed. It doesn't even feel like it's trying to present me with any content. It just quick blurbs here and there. Like,
Well,
I mean,
far
for
too
God's sake,
often I click on something and it just does nothing. It just sits there.
well, I haven't had that problem, but I mean, for God's sakes, 1/3 of their screen is dedicated to Twitter feeds.
I know.
It's a little out of hand.
When is Twitter going to be over? I mean,
I don't know, but I'm actually hoping for sooner rather than later.
I know. And I mean, there's just so many different things. And how about Facebook? I mean, way to go, Facebook, because look at all these companies that have made a whole bunch of money on taking one bit of Facebook and making it their entire thing and making a bunch of money on it. Like Twitter is basically, quick status update. Okay, here you go. We're just limiting your characters. Instagram is just, in Facebook you could take pictures and you could write something about them. Oh, here's Instagram where you can take pictures and write something about them. Everyone is just picking Facebook apart as much as they can to make something new and make money off of it. It's absolutely crazy, but I have to give a lot of credit to Facebook because, man, they're just ahead of so many of these things.
That is true. That is true. Did you see what Mark Zuckerberg's vision is for Facebook in the future?
Oh, God. No, what is it?
Social telepathy. Basically being able to think something and share it immediately with your friends, brainwave to brainwave.
We're sure he wasn't joking about that.
No, he was serious. And apparently it's not overly far-fetched. Apparently scientists, I don't remember what university, but scientists with very carefully placed probes were able to move, basically one guy was able to move another guy's finger.
Wow.
Through the internet. So the technology is sort of there. The question is, how can it become mainstream? Well, that, and how do you keep your friends from getting just the status like, I'm having nausea today, delish, versus, my God, have you seen the boobs on that girl?
I know, because far too often do I think something, I'm like, wow, if I were to have actually said that out loud, someone would have hit me.
Yeah. So, quick question then, and this is going to transition into the latter half of the show, but based off of your thoughts, what percentage of them would you say are inappropriate to be said out loud or around anybody that does not know you intimately or your wife?
Wait, my thoughts?
Yeah.
You want a percentage-wise of ones that I...
Ones that you would feel, or ones that would either get you in trouble with Kim or general society, like, basically, you have close friends where you can tell jokes to that are inappropriate, whether it be about sexism, racism, whatever. Yeah. But you can say that in a safe zone. You're in the safe tree. But yeah, thoughts that if you said out loud to Kim or you said out loud in public would get you in trouble.
I'm going to say 90%, if not more. I think that most of the times when something comes into my brain, I am smart enough to not say it out loud unless I've been drinking a lot. Then that kind of filter starts going down a bit. But I have a terrible brain. I think some of the worst things, and I'm like, wow, really? Did that really just come through your head? Thank God you're not an idiot and said that out loud. That's a conversation I have with myself probably 20 to 25 times a day.
All these years I thought I was the asshole of the two, and yet I think it's really you.
I think it really is me. I think that I just have a little bit better of a filter.
I think so, because I was going to estimate mine at like 70, 75%. I mean, 80 max, but like you hit 90 straight out of the gate.
Yeah, that's not even thinking about it. I just know that one for a fact.
Huh.
I mean, I
Well,
put on a good face, but once again, that's because I have a good filter.
fair enough. Yeah, because I know I definitely think things that are inappropriate that should not be said out loud or in mixed company or you know, to the general public. But 90%, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you. I put a lot of work into that. You may think it's easy, but it's
Well,
pretty hard to do all of that.
I'm gonna attribute part of that to Michael. I'm gonna say that your big brother may have had something to do with that. Which leads us into the second half of the show. We're actually at the 30-minute mark right now, so
Yeah.
might as well introduce our hot girl off in case you did not see it on Facebook or at all, since we still have no viewers. But hot girl off for today is Nadine Velasquez, who is, of course, Sophia on the League. I believe she did appear in a couple movies or two, and I think she actually did a nude scene in one movie. So feel free to Google that.
Mr. Finn, yeah.
And then we've got.
So that's
sorry.
Nadine. That is a Ruxin's wife, right?
Yes, that is correct. And she's going up against Sarah Hyland, who plays. God, I'm drawing a blank on her name in Modern Family.
Is she the oldest girl?
Yeah. Or the oldest daughter.
Yeah, the oldest daughter.
Haley. That's what it is.
Yep.
She plays Haley.
That's a good one. And can I say I really liked how you tagged the League in the post? So, man, I really hope that they see that.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Modern Family didn't let me tag them. But I don't think I like Modern Family on Facebook, actually. So, never know. Anyways, so that's what our hot girl off is. Feel free to Google that.
I am mentally Googling that right now. And who knows if that's going to automatically post what I think about it.
Exactly, because can you imagine like watching different movies or TV shows and just having like auto post on? It's like, not gonna be good. Not gonna be good.
I know. I'm gonna be sitting there like, watching something like Old School where I see them like drinking all the time, and I'm sitting there like having a beer with it, as it normally does. If you're on a 3-4 day bender of drinking, you're like, wonder if I'm an alcoholic. And then it automatically posts that on Facebook for you. You're like, oh, wait a second. No, I'm not. That was just a quick thought. I went on from that very quickly and had another beer.
See, I could see you watching like Eurotrip, and then the scene where Michelle Trachtenberg is taking off her little shirt deal when she's on the nude beach, and you just thinking, oh, here comes the Michelle Trachtenberg scene. There goes the shirt. So hot. Want to touch the hiney.
The post is, I wonder if you can Google more naked pictures of Michelle Trachtenberg.
Yeah. Remind me later to Google.
Or what is that? There's it's called Here, Let Me Google That For You or something like that. Have you heard of it?
No idea.
Oh, there's something out there, and it's even a website. I don't remember it, but it's called like HLMGTFY or something like that. It's Here, Let Me Google That For You. It's basically if you ask a stupid question that could easily be answered on Google, you're able to send this person a link, and it not only pulls up Google on their machine, but it also types in their question and Googles it for them and to give them the answers. And yeah, so it'd be in that scenario it would be, oh, here, let me Google that for you, Michelle Trachtenberg's naked scenes. Ooh, excuse me.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, so I did try to look up some stupid news for the day.
Oh.
I have not gotten to anything yet.
Well,
However, apparently Canadian courts have ruled that the obese have the rights to 2 seats. Don't know how
No.
well, actually, I do know how I feel about that, but that's where that autofilter comes in.
Yep, that's pretty good. Yeah, no, come on.
Ooh, here's a good one.
I'm sorry if you are large, and I do feel bad for you because there are some people who it's not 100% their fault, partially theirs, but not 100%. But seriously, it's fine. I don't care. I don't mind. But you do need 2 seats.
Right, and please buy 2 seats.
Yeah, exactly.
Then again, the airlines are going through quite a bit of upheaval right now with their Department of Justice investigation and everything. So who knows what's going to go on with them? Hopefully, it results in lower airfare, but I doubt it.
I remember I was on a flight one time on a Southwest flight, and I ended up sitting next to this very large person who was basically taking up at least a seat and a half. And he was at the window, I sat on the aisle, as I normally do. I like the aisle seat. I'm an aisle seater. And as soon as I sat down, he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. No one's going to want to sit next to me." And he said that right before he asked for a seatbelt extender. It's like, wow. You're just proud of it, aren't you?
Yes, he is. He's owning it, which is okay. All right.
As I say, I'm totally cool with that.
So I did find our Jackass of the Week. However, I apologize because this article is actually very dated. Maybe we're getting that retro, it's so old that it's cool again effect here. I'm not sure if that works with news. Either way, maybe you forgot about it, so it's going to be new again. If you didn't hear about it in the first place.
Okay.
So, title is Chef Dies After Eating Super Hot, in quotations, chili. This is actually from September of 2008 in Australia, but an aspiring chef died after eating a super hot chili sauce in a competition with his girlfriend's brother. An inquest in England was heard. I've never heard the word inquest anymore. Anyways, Andrew Lee, 33, challenged his girlfriend's brother to a contest on September 19th to see who could make and eat the hottest sauce, London's The Times reported. The forklift driver from Eddington, West Yorkshire, in England, made a tomato sauce with red chilies grown by his father, but after eating it, suffered intense discomfort and itching. Mr. Lee went to bed and asked his girlfriend, Samantha Bailey, to scratch his back until he fell asleep. When she woke in the morning, he was dead, possibly after suffering a heart attack, the Guardian says. Paramedics were called to the home but were unable to revive Mr. Lee, who was lying on the floor. Toxicology tests will be conducted to establish if he suffered a reaction to the food. Mr. Lee was in perfect health and just passed a medical examination at work, the inquest heard. Mr. Lee's sister, Claire Chadbourne, 29, said he took a jar of the sauce to his girlfriend's home and challenged her brother, Michael, 29, to a competition to see who could eat it. Andrew just ate the chilies with a plate of dolmio sauce. It was not a proper meal because he had already eaten lamb chops and a potato mash after work. I'm sorry, but I just really find that statement really funny. He apparently got into bed at 2:30 a.m. and started scratching all over. His girlfriend woke up and he had gone. It is incredible. Who would have thought he could have died from eating chili sauce?
Wow. And just think of all the times that, I've rubbed chili sauce all over my chest and I've been just fine. I mean, it really makes you put your life into perspective.
It'll make you think next time you order those 5-alarm wings at that wing stop you go to.
Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, I didn't want to mention them since they're not official sponsors of the show, but
I mean, Wild Buffalo Wing store that we aren't going to mention on air.
Overpriced Sports Bar.
Aren't they all? Aren't they all?
That is true. Oh, I miss the Firehouse. Anyways, so that is our Jackass of 6 years ago.
That's a very good one of 6 years ago.
In fact, the story I've got on this post, or on this Huffington Post stupid news thing, is from January, so they don't do a good job of updating that.
Mm-hmm. So, this could be a new segment for our show. It's called So I'm Looking Through Facebook. And I pull up a picture. It is of a friend of mine from middle school into high school, who I haven't really talked to much since then. You know, she was really nice, all that kind of stuff. I was, you know, somewhat close to her. She was a good friend. She pulls up a picture of her. She's apparently visiting Seattle right now, and she took a picture of the Space Needle. You know, traveling, it's a good spot. And looking through, because, you know, on pictures they have like a couple of comments at the bottom. One of them comes up with, "That doesn't look so big," and nobody says anything on that comment. I mean, I'm just sitting there ready to say it's not the size that matters, and I just don't know if I should or not. I mean, I'm not going to, but man, I so want to.
That would be awesome.
But it's like, if it was someone from college, then boom, yeah. If someone from like the hockey team had said something like that, then oh yeah, I wouldn't be the first one to say something of the exact same nature.
No, everybody would have been on that like white on rice.
Exactly, but the fact that there were like a bunch of comments and someone says that doesn't look so big and nobody says anything after that, it's just surprising. Anyways, so that's the end of my segment of that's what I saw on Facebook.
I thought it was called So I Was on Facebook.
That was so long ago, and that was way before I remembered what I said.
I just saw a picture that says "Complete your meal with a mega jug." Not sure what that means, but
excellent. Is that once again? So this is what I saw on Facebook.
Yeah, that was the extension to. So this is what I saw on Facebook.
All right, I'm gonna have to remember the name this time. All right, so here's the next thing I wanted to get into. This is gonna lead into one of our segments in the future, which is called Brewing Beer and the art beneath it. So I'm looking to brew a pale ale, American-style pale ale. If you're looking for like examples, think of like Sierra Nevada, Stone Pale Ale. Which other ones would be recognizable? Deschutes Mirror Pond, Full Sail, Firestone, Left Hand Brewing, stuff like that are kind of typical pale ales that you might see out there. A lot of times it's supposed to be usually moderate to strong hoppy aroma, mostly coming from the dry hopping, because for a lot of pale ales and IPAs, you know, that hoppiness flavor, that hoppiness, those hoppy varieties to it really are the characteristics of those beers. So pale ales normally get their flavor from dry hopping. A citrusy hop flavor is very common. It has low to moderate maltiness. So if you think of, you know, a lot of maltiness being like a stout, this has very little bit of maltiness. It's mostly just there to accentuate the hops part of it. You know, you don't want it. A small amount of malty character is there, but you're looking for something that's like a bread or toast or biscuit kind of flavor, not something a lot stronger than that when it comes to the malts. You're not looking for, you know, kind of like that big, strong chocolate flavor that you would get with a stout.
Chocolat.
Exactly. Yeah, and oh gosh, you definitely don't want it. Gosh, crazy Moulin Rouge. So, I'm looking to brew one. It turns out that we're going to a family reunion at the end of the month for my wife, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Well, it was going to be fun no matter what. But then it turns out that a couple of her cousins are beer brewers. So I'm like, dude, obviously we need to have a competition now. So they're brewing up a hoppy pale ale, so I'm going to do the same thing. And so my thought is giving that aroma, that strong hoppy aroma. The flavor is supposed to be, a moderate to high hoppy flavor. It's supposed to be low to moderate, like clean malt characters, as I was talking about. The balance is more towards the hop, with the malt being the backbone to it, basically. So I'm looking to do a pale ale. I think I'm going to go for a little bit more of a citrusy kind of hops, maybe even add in a couple of citrusy grains, just to really kind of make a citrus hop pale ale, because I think theirs is going to be a hoppy pale ale. So I think that's going to be the way I'm going to try to counter their beer that they're going to make, is to really kind of add that citrusy flavor to it. Because we're going to freaking Connecticut in the middle of fucking August, so it's going to be 120 degrees there, plus humidity. So I think that a nice citrusy flavor would kind of give a little bit of lightness, brightness to it, and allow me to completely demolish them.
Tell me more about how the girls at work annoy you.
It's because they don't look at me the way that I like it to. It's when I'm trying to pay attention to them and I can't help staring at their breasts, they get all upset at me.
I'm sad that you missed the South Park reference, but it's okay.
I did. I'm sorry. I went with it. I was gonna go with it, but
you did go with
it. I haven't watched South Park in years. I don't think. I think I've missed many seasons.
You missed the infamous shake weight episode, though.
No, I got the shake weight.
Okay. So, anyways, that's what that was, and that's what that reminded me of. So that's why I inserted that there. So, yes, brewing pale ale is excellent. Now, we were talking earlier about thoughts that we do not say just for the sake of general society, and I can't even
have a whole show just
that I withheld.
Love that topic.
Pale ale jokes while you were talking.
I know. I really was walking into that one because every time I have a pale ale, I think of Stifler's pale
ale. Yes, you would.
I know. Can I also say, so once again, going back to those things that you shouldn't always say out loud, quite a few times I do say those things out loud, and not everyone really gets my humor. I remember I was at work, and they were talking about it. One of the guys was making a joke about how he wanted an assistant. Of course, he wanted to be like a college-age girl who was wearing quite a few bit of clothing, which I was fine going with. And we talked about that for a couple of minutes, and then at the end I was like, oh yeah, all that would be awesome. And somehow I worked into the conversation how either that or somebody that looked like Thor. And I thought it was pretty funny. I brought it up in a good way, it was pretty good. And nobody laughed. They all thought I was just crazy.
I get that too, because obviously stern face, everybody thinks that I'm like way too serious all the time. It's my prominent brow. I can't help it. I'm sorry. But people at work,
pluck the middle of it, it might help a little bit more.
Yeah. Hey, thank you.
For them instead.
Yeah. Let me get the tweezers out. I can also jerk you off with them if that works.
Is that how you're gonna be picking them?
Yeah. So, anyways, if I have, I'll try to crack jokes like with people at work and stuff, even if I don't deal with them a whole lot. Like just drop in some sarcasm or something like that. And if they don't know me all that well, and they're just like, used to dealing with me in a very nonchalant, like business-like manner, they don't know how to handle it. Like, wait a second, was he serious? Like, did he really mean what he just said? And it's funny, they just like they freeze. Sarcasm, like the sarcasm is to the point where like they don't know if I'm serious or not, and they're not sure how to handle the whole situation, so they get very awkward, I guess is the best way to put it. And all of a sudden I'm like, never mind.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. I totally agree. It's crazy sometimes. One of the things that I've, I love improv, and one of the things that I haven't done a class, but I've watched a lot, I've read a lot about it. One of the things they say is you always go with, when someone says something, you go with yes and, or not only that, but, just because you always want to keep the conversation going. You always come up with the next thing, try to top, stuff like that. You hear me say that all the time. Yeah, and so it's like I do that at work, and so if someone comes up to me and says, let's say something crazy, I will go like, yeah, not only that, but, and I'll try to top them with something even crazier. You're like, dude, I wasn't serious. It's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I wasn't either. Calm the fuck down.
But then again, you work with a bunch of techies, and they're not real. Well, I'm an accountant, so I can't really say much, but techies aren't known for their sense of humor either.
I know, exactly. It's, the pants you must wear to work are obviously golfer pants.
Yeah.
So, all right. That was my beer brewing idea.
Oh.
If you wanted to know, most American pale ales will have an average alcohol by volume of 4.5 to 6.2%.
That's a pretty wide range for an average.
It is. It is. Well, it really depends on the amount of sugar that comes out of the wort. If you have a lot of sugar in that, it'll be a little bit higher. If you don't, then it'll be a little bit lower.
That's right, because the sugar creates the alcohol.
Yep. If you have too much, then you have something like the crap that Michael used to drink. What was that called? Like some kind of malt liquor or some crap.
Oh, something steel.
Steel Reserve. Yeah.
Was it Steel Reserve?
He went a step further. He went something even worse than Steel Reserve. But Steel Reserve was kind of the big one that you would always do.
It was the flavored stuff, wasn't it?
Yes. Man, I don't know what it was. I wish he was watching. Why is my brother not watching my goddamn show?
You only could buy it at the one gas station. Is like $1.79 a can, and it's like 24 ounces.
It's like 9 or 10% alcohol.
Yeah, something like that. Like you could get
like a 6-pack in a night,
and you could get shit faced off of 2.
Yeah. Oh God.
Like, I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't have renal failure yet.
I know.
Because
that
would kill Westerman. I guess that's a testament to his intestinal fortitude.
That's very physical.
I mean, if there's anything we've learned yet, it's that the Palmer's livers are impervious to alcoholic damage.
I think you're right. I think that they've just grown to the size of, that's why I want to donate my liver to science when I die, is because somebody has to figure it out, because there are a lot of people out there. I'm here to help people, and there's a lot of people out there who can't hold their liquor, who have problems, and if they seriously can learn from my liver, and it would just go miles in scientific research.
I think you have alien enzymes in your liver. That's got to be the only explanation.
I think it's more of like a custom kind of thing. It's you just kind of get your body accustomed to being drunk, and it's just like second nature to it. It's like, oh yeah, your body feels weird when you're not drinking. It's like, oh, what the hell is this? Soberness? Come on.
Well, the human race normally needs generations upon generations to, adapt and develop, where I mean, your parents don't really drink. I mean, you
Mm-mm.
might be like first generation alcoholic. So I just don't understand like how it happens. Maybe you guys were given such fresh livers that it just like it was like a virgin that you had to play with the whole time. I don't know.
Exactly. There will be books written upon my liver once I die.
There
Probably
probably
from
will
kidney
be.
failure.
I do not doubt that for a second. But I think your brother's liver is going to be in there too, because for God's sakes, if he's lived this long drinking that shit,
Oh God, I know.
I mean,
Oh no.
I've drank like 3, 4 logos in my life, and I think every time I ended each situation thinking, "What the fuck is wrong with me?" It's just bad news bears. I mean, I remember one time back in Nampa, me and Ashley, we decided that one day we were going to build a fort in our living room,
I remember that.
and we got like 3, 4 locos a piece. And we were just going to get drunk and watch movies, and I drank like 1.5, and I fell asleep, and it was probably the best decision I ever made in my life, because trying to drink 3 of those would have been just completely stupid.
I know, and I seriously think Michael was drinking a 6-pack of them. Just on a random night. Just like, oh, hey, here's a Monday. Why not drink until I get stupid?
I still remember his story about leaving his screwdriver on steroids is, I guess, the best way to describe it, in his little Sharks cup on the ground, and Jazz got to it. Comes out of the shower, and his dog can't even sit up straight. Legs just fold out underneath it, and all of a sudden the dog's lying down because he's drunk.
Oh God, yeah, that was funny.
Good times, good times. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a 32-ounce cup of vodka and orange juice that all of a sudden is empty when you get out of the shower.
In the morning. It's not like you were showering in the afternoon. This is
No.
morning shower time.
This is 10 o'clock maybe.
Mm-hmm. But hey, it's okay. It was only a Saturday.
Yeah. Maybe it was a Sunday. Maybe it was football Sunday. No, you're right. It was a Saturday.
Could have been a football Sunday. Oh, Kitty standing on bladder is bad. All right. Here,
So
I found a quick would you rather that we may or may not have done before.
first,
I thought it made me laugh, so I was going to say it.
yes. All right. Yeah. Let's go with would you rather then.
All right. Would you rather eat chocolate pudding that tastes like shit or eat shit that tastes like chocolate pudding?
Is this even a serious question?
It is a serious question.
All right. So we have 2 ways of looking about this. One, how do you feel about hepatitis C? And 2, how able are you to eat things that taste disgusting?
So let us preface this. Let us say that for the most part, you aren't going to get any diseases from eating the actual shit that tastes like chocolate pudding. Let's say, maybe there's a slight chance of scurvy.
Sorry, one more time.
Say that like, there's only a slight chance of scurvy. The disease you get if you don't eat enough fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go with the shit that tastes like chocolate. I mean, I would rather have the taste of chocolate in my mouth, because taste is more important than pretty much, if you didn't know, like somebody just served you some pate and it tastes like chocolate, you're like, this isn't bad. It's pretty good. Only after the fact, if somebody told you, "Oh yeah, that was shit that I fed you," would you then like feel disgusted? But if you are not going to get Hep C from the whole thing, then that is a much more pleasant experience than saying, "Oh, here's a Hershey's bar. By the way, it tastes like shit."
Wow.
That's the only argument I need.
You know, most of the time, you know, as you know, we normally go against each other just to make it more interesting. This time, I 100%, 120%. Wait, you can't get higher than 100%. I 100% completely disagree. I would much prefer to eat chocolate that tastes like shit because you are still eating shit. And that came out of somebody's bunghole. And you don't know what they've been eating. They don't know which you've been eating. I don't know why that matters. But you don't know, and oh my gosh, that could still be warm, it could still be corny, it could still have a lot of problems to it. So I would 100% much prefer to eat chocolate that tastes like shit because at least at that point, I know that it's chocolate. I know the chocolate process. I've seen the chocolate process. It's cocoa, it's cocoa, it's butter, it's cream, it's chocolate. It's chocolate. And if you happen to get some cocoa that maybe tastes like shit, but you still make chocolate out of it, at least it came from a goddamn cocoa tree or where the fuck cocoa comes from. I don't even know where cocoa comes from. Does it come from the same places like coffee grounds? I don't fucking know.
It does come from a tree, but it is in a very weird, like, basically how raw cocoa is harvested is completely different from what you would ever expect. It's really weird and actually is unpleasant looking.
Do they harvest it with their butts? Because really, that's the only way that I would ever go with eating shit that tastes like chocolate.
Well, apparently we know that you are not willing to give a rim job. That's all that I learned from this conversation. That and you're wrong. Obviously wrong.
Obviously. But
Obviously.
That is one thing. For my next gay lover, I just want them to know that I will not be giving a rim job.
Next, I see that you're ditching me in the future.
I'm not saying I'm ditching you. I'm just saying that there is the slight possibility that, you know, I'll get some kind of urge that will come up the next time I'm in a parking structure or something like that.
Again, some side piece going on.
Yeah, exactly. You never know when you're going to need a little bit of side piece. You live fucking 4,000 miles away. What do you expect me to do?
It's like 2,300.
Yeah, still a lot more than I'm willing to go for a booty call. I mean, if I'm going to come all the way out there, then holy crap, I'm going to need a lot more than just a little bit of a rim job.
Reach around.
It's a little bit better.
All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our hot girl off while we're talking about reach rounds. We do still only have you and me on the show, so we can.
It's technically a Thursday. Some people are actually working tomorrow.
Poor bastards.
Yeah, it's true, but you know, I've entertained myself, and you've entertained me, so that's really all that matters to us.
Yeah, and I've entertained myself. I mean, I'm not picky.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so sorry. Let's go back to our segment, things I saw on Facebook or whatever we called it. My dad just shared a picture. It was of a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, and the caption is, "Our pickles don't touch, just like God intended." Chick-fil-A.
All right. I have been mostly against Chick-fil-A, but now I need to keep going there. And I'm going to open up every single fucking sandwich I have. And as soon as there are two pickles touching, I'm going to go in there and pull my pants down.
Just throw an absolute shit fit. My pickles are touching. Pickles
I'm
don't
not gonna
touch.
touch
Don't
him.
you
What
know
the
that
hell?
God wrote that?
Wow. All right.
I got
I'm now seeing it. What do we think? Is this real at all, or is this fake?
I think this
That's our
is.
next new segment. Is this real?
I think this is taking coincidence and combining it with religiousness. Either way, I got a good laugh out of it.
I did too. That's pretty awesome.
All right, so anyways, let's go back to our hot girl off. It's just you and me. We'll leave up the polls for our next show, which at this rate will be, September.
I think it'll be a little bit sooner because since it is just us, we're gonna be making a dedication to every Monday night to Kim's gonna put Maddie to bed so that I can be available at 7:30ish as soon as bath time's over, so that we can actually start doing more shows.
Ah,
So
excellent.
that'll probably lead us into hopefully more hour power shows.
Ah, very nice. I'm all right with that.
So yeah, so I don't think that's crazy. We're gonna start making that effort. And technically, I should be working less anyways. My boss basically told me that recently. So
Hey, start doing less, damn it.
I know exactly. Can you do a little bit less? I mean, really, come on now. It's not often you hear that from your manager, but I definitely got that.
Wow. NBA players are just getting paid ridiculous amounts of money.
How is the NBA making so much money? I mean, I don't want to say it's not that great of a sport because it's basketball. I'm a sports fan. Whatever. I'm not going to diss on them just because I personally don't appreciate it. But seriously, they are only maybe one or two steps above like hockey in popularity. I mean, it's very much a localized regional sport that just happens to have a couple of national sponsors. So
Sure.
while hockey only has NBC as a sponsor, NBA has TNT and ESPN. It's like if that was reversed, I don't see. Think about it. If hockey had bigger sponsors, why couldn't it be as big as the NBA? I think that if you're really looking at fan bases, they're very much similar in the fact that they're small, they're regional, but they'll pay attention to maybe some of the bigger teams from other locations. I mean, with the exception of the network, what's really different about those two sports? Does that make sense? Or am I crazy?
Sort of, but you're also slightly crazy. But anyways, just a couple figures that were thrown out there today. Dwayne Wade, 1 year, $20 million. A little bit excessive. And then they had Damian Lillard, your Portland guy, 5 years, $120 million. So $24 million a year for Damian Lillard. So congratulations to him because goddamn.
Did he stay in Portland? Because LaMarcus Aldridge looks like he's going to be leaving down towards San Antonio.
Aldridge is definitely leaving. He's probably not going to LA, thank God. I think the Spurs is where he's going to land. Anyways, let's backtrack. Go ahead and make your argument for the hot girl off. I've got to grab another beer.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. And what timing? I'm going to have to grab another beer in a little bit, too. All right, so here's my argument. I think what's nice about both of these girls is that humor is very sexy. So having a good sense of humor is a really big turn on, and both of these girls definitely have it. I definitely think that when you're looking at this one, you're looking at age because, Haley from Modern Family is quite a bit younger than who's-you-call-it from the league.
Nadine Velasquez.
Russell's wife. Ooh. So I mean, not that age really should matter, but it's definitely when you're looking at comparisons, it's definitely one that comes up there. Um, I also think that so here, so I'm going to go with Haley from Modern Family. That's going to be my vote, and it's incredibly close. These two are very, very good. I think that the reason I was going to go with Haley is because I am much more. I like a lot more like the look of you're not spending 2 hours in the bathroom every morning. Or I think that. Hold on, let me pull it up. I think that Nadine Vasquez, she looks like to look the way she does, she has to spend a couple of hours every day in the bathroom. Where I think Sarah Hyland, she has that more natural look to her, where she looks really good, even if she doesn't spend 2 hours in the bathroom every morning. Um, and I definitely think that that adds a lot to the hotness, as if you don't have to work for it, you just have it. So that's why I'm going to go with Sarah Hyland.
That is.
By the way, I really like the name Sarah.
That is a very valid argument. Nadine Velasquez does at times appear to be overly maked up. Sorry, I'm
Looking
doing
up nudie pictures of Nadine Velasquez.
What's that?
Are you looking up nudie pictures of Nadine Velasquez? Are you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, now I can.
Yeah. The movie Flight was the movie she was naked in.
Excellent, always good.
And, like, the league, I think the league builds her up a little bit too much.
I definitely agree with that.
Wow, she did full frontal. Wow. Interesting. Anyways.
While you're taking a look at that, can I just throw out, we're going to definitely talk more sports later.
Who are you throwing that out to?
11. We're going to do more sports later, of course. But, every year when we start talking about fantasy, I need to make my plea for people to take kickers in the last round. So yes. I just took a look, as I was looking before, at the points scales. And if you take out Steven Gostkowski, who got 10 points more, he was number one kicker. He got 10 points more than the number two kicker. Steven Gostkowski, if we were to look at average draft positions, was not the number one kicker taken. So he's kind of an outlier in this situation. But let's take number two through number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 through 11. How many points difference do you think that there is?
Per game or total?
Per game.
Half.
Half? It gets up to a little bit over 1 point per game. That's the difference between kickers number 2 through kicker number 11. So if you're in a 10-team league, you are really looking at a 1 point difference, which is going to win you how many games? Maybe one? But even that is pretty much cutting it close. You're really reaching for the bottom rung there.
Yeah, reaching at the bottom of the barrel. All right, going back to our previous discussion, I have reached my conclusion.
You have. Okay.
I'm following you on this one. I'm going with Sarah Hyland. She's like you said, doesn't necessarily need to have all that makeup, although I do believe that she probably wears a considerable amount. But I do think that age does play a part in it, and overall, she's just better looking. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
So my vote is for Sarah Hyland as well. So what we'll do, since it is just me and you on this one, we'll leave this post and or ballots open for, well, hell, we'll do it to the next show if we pay attention.
It's okay. This is only going to be on people's radar screens for about the next day or two. So
that's true, unless we start like promoting it, which I don't like giving Facebook money, so we probably won't. So, anyways, yeah, it will probably be decided more or less in the next day. But for right now, Sarah Hyland controls a 2-0 lead over Nadine Velasquez. So if you have nothing else left, why don't we do a quick streak for the cash?
Ooh, that sounds good. ESPN. Once again, our non-official content partner.
God, I hate this new site.
I do too. It's really bad.
All right, there's a streak for the cash.
The leader right now is at 10. I can't even click on tomorrow. Do you see tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's Friday. I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow's Friday. All right.
Oh, you're good. At least you had the same thing that I did. Wow, there's a bunch of them. All right, let's get going through these. Let's start with Wimbledon. We have gentlemen's third round. Who will win this matchup? We have number 11, Grigor Dimitrov versus number 21, Richard Gasquet.
I don't feel comfortable going with the Frenchman, so let's go with Grigor Dimitrov.
The Bulgarian.
Right, let's stay in Wimbledon, but let's go over to the female side, or the ladies' side, if you will. Will both Serena and Venus win 2-0? Yes or no?
Wow, you really read that a lot differently than I did. I thought that Serena and Venus were on different doubles matches. Okay, anyways, will they both win 2-0? Yes, they're the best in the sport. They're going to win 2-0. Let's go over to Wimbledon's gentlemen. Let's go back to the gentlemen. It's the third round. Will it be number 9, Marin Cilic from Croatia, or number 17, John Isner from USA?
I think it's Isner, but I don't think he's going to win. So let's go with the Croatian Marin Cilic, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, right, Croatian crusher, if you will.
Yes, that's exactly right. All right, let's go into Major League Baseball. We've got the Miami Marlins heading to Chicago to face off against the Cubs. Who you got?
Very interesting one. I'm going to go with the Cubs on this one, basically because if in Back to the Future 2, this World Series was going to be between the Miami and Chicago, and the Chicago ends up pulling it off. So definitely going to be the Cubs in this one.
Unfortunately, Miami was a American League team in that reality, and
that's true. Now it couldn't happen that way.
Yeah.
They almost got everything right in that world.
Almost.
Right, let's go on to the same game where we're going to have, will both teams score a run in the 4th through the 6th inning? Yes, both teams will score, or at least one team doesn't score. That's a really stupid one.
Yeah, and I'm not too confident in either of these teams' offenses, so I'm going to say no. They both don't score during the 4th through the 6th. All right, Matthew, let's go to Washington, where we've got the Los Gigantes facing off against the Nationals.
Wow, is this like the El Hito playing right now?
Yes.
We're going to go with the Giants because they are super awesome. Let's head over to a soccer international friendly where we have Guatemala at the USA. Oh, I wonder what time that game is. Will the U.S. win by 3 goals or more? Will there be any other result?
You know how I feel about 3 3 goals or more in soccer is even 2 goals or more is rough. So I'm going to say any other result. No offense to USA. All right, Matthew, let's stay in that same game. How many goals will be scored in the first half? We've got 1 goal or any other number.
Wow, I'm going to go with 1 goal. I think that one of the teams will score in the first half. Let's head over to Major League Baseball, a sport that people in America actually know about. We have the Cleveland Indians heading up to Pittsburgh to play against the Pirates. Who will win that matchup?
You know, I like Pittsburgh on this one. They're at home. They've got the better team. Let's go with Pittsburgh. All right, Matthew, let's go or stay in Major League Baseball. We've got the Rays visiting against the Yankees. Who you got?
Braves against the Yankees. Holy cow. We'll go with your Braves to pull this one off. Or Rays, sorry. I'm smart. We'll still go with the Rays. It's a tie. The AL East this year is a very close matchup, so we're going to go with the Rays to win it on the road. All right, let's pull off the next one, which is the Toronto Blue Jays heading to Detroit to face off against the Tigers. Who will win that matchup?
You know, I actually like Toronto on the road on this one. Detroit's only a 500 team. They're not going to I mean, Toronto's not great, but I like their pitcher on this one versus what the Tigers are going to throw out. All right, Matthew, let's stay in baseball. We've got the Houston Astros visiting the Boston Red Sox. Who you got?
Well, the AL East is pretty strong this year. That doesn't count the Boston Red Sox. So let's take the Houston Astros, who are a surprising team this year, to pull off the win, not upset. They're expected to win. Let's head off to the home of the All-Star game this year, the Cincinnati Reds, where the Milwaukee Brewers will be coming to town to face off against the Reds. Who will win that matchup?
Both teams are among the league's worst this year. Both are under 500, but I do like the Reds at home. Just a quick update, Mitch voted for Sarah Hyland, so that puts her at 3-0. Basically an insurmountable lead in this bracket. All right, Matthew, let's go to the Copa America.
Yeah, Sarah Hyland from Modern Family versus Nadine Vasquez from The League. Ruxin's wife from The League versus Haley from Modern Family.
Ruxin's wife drives me nuts, so I'm just
all right, so apparently Ruxin's wife drives Honey nuts, so we're definitely going with Haley again.
Fair enough. So anyways, let's go to Copa America, where we've got the third place match of Paraguay versus Peru. Who you got?
Copa America, the craziest soccer north of Havana. We'll go with Peru. Let's head up to the Canadian Football League, which will be awesome because the Calgary Stampeders are facing off against the Montreal Alouettes. Will the Stampeders win or a single-digit loss, or will the Alouettes pull off a win by double digits?
Alouette, gente Alouette, Alouette, gente plumeray.
I honestly think that we have picked the Alouettes every time that they've come up on this singing the same song.
I would not doubt that in the slightest.
Not to mention that they are a 90 percentage point underdog right now on Streak for the Catch.
Screw them. All right, anyways, let's go back to baseball, Matthew. We've got the Los Angeles Angels visiting the Texas Rangers. Who you got?
We are definitely going to go with the Los Angeles Angels winning on the road this time. Rangers just won't be able to pull it off. We've got the Baltimore Orioles heading out to the Windy City to face off against the Chicago White Sox, who will win that matchup.
John Danks hasn't been pitching all that well. Let's go with the Orioles on the road. Matthew, let's go to Kansas City, where the Royals will be hosting the Twins. Who's winning?
Oh, these are two teams that are pretty close, but given the fact that the majority of the All-Star team is going to be Kansas City Royals, let's go with them to pull this one off. Let's face off against the next one, where we have San Diego Padres, or Fathers if you speak English, are going up against the St. Louis Cardinals, or Red Birds if you don't know your ornithology. Who will win that matchup?
Nice use of ornithology. Let's go with the Cardinals at home. They are Major League best baseball team, unfortunately. God, I hate living in this area. Let's go with the Cardinals at home. All right, Matthew, let's go over to your neck of the woods where we've got the A's hosting the Mariners. Who's winning this one?
Well, these are two very close teams, both on the West Coast, so pretty much nobody on your side of the world really cares about them at all. But so we're going to go with Oakland to pull this one off. They are 1 point or 1 game over the Mariners, and so they'll pull this game off as well. Let's over to Major League Soccer, which can I say I'm starting to become much more and more of a fan of Major League Soccer. But we're going to have the Chicago Fire to win or draw against the Houston Dynamo. Who's going to win this one?
Oh, dear God.
You don't care.
Let's go with the winner draw just because it gives us 2 scenarios.
Yes, that's always a good one.
All right, Matthew, let's go back to Major League Baseball where we've got the Rockies visiting the Arizona Diamondbacks.
If you didn't care about the Seattle Mariners versus the Oakland Athletics, you are really not going to care about the Colorado Rockies versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is a team against the bottom dwellers, and it's going to really prove off to be a bottom dweller type of game. So, might as well go with the home team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, to win this one. Let's go back to the Mets versus Dodgers. How many strikeouts will Clayton Kershaw record in the 1st through 4th inning? 4 or fewer, or 5 or more?
You know, Kershaw has not been playing great this season. Well, not compared to his usual self. But the Mets have only scored 1 run in the last 3 games, so I'm going to go with 5 or more. Now let's go back. Let's go to the WNBA where we're facing off against 2 teams apparently called the Tulsa Shock and the Los Angeles Sparks.
So here's my question. The Sparks are 1-7. How is it that both Los Angeles teams in men's and women's basketball suck so bad? We'll go with the Tulsa Shock because, you know, when those Tulsa girls get going, they really know how to play things. Let's go back to the World University Games basketball, where U.S. is facing off against Turkey, Guangzhou, South Korea. What will be the halftime result? Turkey, Guangzhou, South Korea.
Who's playing in this game?
I have no idea, but will USA lead by 10 points, or will there be another result?
I mean, 10 points to halftime is a pretty big lead, but, I mean, it's Turkey, so I'm going to say yes.
But it's Turkey, Guangzhou, and South Korea.
I thought that's just where they were playing.
Oh, it could be.
Maybe they're just playing in Guangzhou, South Korea. Either way, I'm going with USA because, if nothing else, it's Independence Day, USA pride.
USA all the way. All right, here's the next big question. This wasn't on there. But on Saturday, will you be watching the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest?
No, I don't think I've ever watched it. I usually watch.
Oh my God!
You have not. I usually watch the Sports Center synopsis of it, but I usually do not watch it because I'm generally sleeping.
Too much partying the night before. I love competitive eating. If competitive eating was bigger, I would watch it. I would watch any competitive eating event that comes up. I think it is the most awesome thing in the world. I'm going to be watching the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. I don't know who's going to be in it this year, but if Joey Chestnut is in there or if Eater X, I always like Eater X. If he's in there, I'm going to be definitely rooting for him. If the fucking Asian guy is in there again, I'm going to be urinating on him or something like that. I don't like him at all. Yeah, exactly. Screw him. Him and all of his family.
So we are at 89 minutes now, so I think we are officially ready to sign off of this program.
That's true, but hey, we only went over by 29 minutes, so go us.
Kudos to us. All right,
And
so
most of that 29 minutes was in the Streak for the Cash, which is supposed to take us about 5.
right, not so much streaking, more so marathoning. But
Yeah.
either way, we will hopefully be back next month. We will try to finish up this 2014 Hot Girl Off bracket by 2016,
Hopefully.
and transition into something new to look forward to in the future.
Indeed. Thank you all very much for watching, listening. Well, most of you did not watch live, but we're going to post this up, and so if you're watching this not live, we hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to hourofpowershow@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out Simply Awesome Sports if it comes up again in the near future on OregonSportsNews.com. Let's at least go to OregonSportsNews.com. They're a great group of guys. Make sure to click on them and give them a lot of clicks. That's all we really care about, because you can listen to us or not listen to us. We're going to keep doing this shit whether you listen or not. So
that is factually correct.
We've proven
With
it.
that being said, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Prost!